Hey guys, it's me, it's Rob, the Butcher. Just came on. This is going to be my first video, and right now I'm just watching the Barr hearing, and as soon as I started watching it, um, I started getting all fired up and pissed off because just the Democrats are ridiculous. Um, so I'm going to go ahead and just record myself as I watch and talk and maybe post on Twitter, maybe post on other conspiracy websites, and we'll go from there. All right. So let me just minimize. Okay, guys, as you can see, I just pulled my USA sleeveless shirt off out of the drawer. I figure I should look the part if I'm going to be talking about Trump and uh, America and all that good stuff. So I have my USA athletic department, which is appropriate considering how jacked I am. You can see it's been washed recently and folded and thrown in a drawer, so it's got some nice wrinkles on it. So try to avoid those or ignore those while we move on here. Barr just asked for a brief recess, and he said 5 minutes. So I'm assuming you guys got to go take a leak. Yeah. So we will be back. So right now, Barr is being grilled. Not, I would say questioned, but he's not being questioned. He's being grilled by Karen Bass, who is a representative from California, also a Democrat. And you might be able to hear it in the back. And the Dems have clearly shown their game plan, which is to repeatedly basically just spout what they call facts, whether it's about law enforcement or experiences of people with law enforcement, rehashing the same stories from the past in order to kind of drive home their point. And then when Barr tries to answer, they cut him off. And then if he starts to answer and elaborate, they shout at him, "I reclaim my time." I've already seen 3 Democrats at least do it, and it's very frustrating because they're not allowing him the chance to answer. They just keep cutting him off, and she started lecturing him on George Floyd, saying that he was killed by a chokehold. Now everybody in the world has seen that video. Everybody agrees that it was over the top. It was ridiculous. And I don't know anything about the officers involved. I don't know why they targeted him. She said he was killed for having a counterfeit $20 bill. First of all, a counterfeit $20 bill is a crime, and resisting arrest is a crime, and being high on illegal substances is a crime. Behind the wheel of a car is a crime. All that stated, should not have died. He should have been arrested. And if they couldn't do the job, 4 fucking people couldn't do the job, like, you got to get a big ass dude on the police force who just, his job is to just take control of the situation. Like, you just call for backup, and here comes the big ass dude, and he arrests George Floyd. That aside, to constantly bring it up because it was the flashpoint. It was the flashpoint that set all of this unrest off. It had been brewing. The pandemic added to it. Everybody on lockdown got all aggro, and the bubble burst. It almost burst when the guy in Georgia was shot. Of course, I forget his name off the top of my head, but the rednecks who killed the guy in Georgia, Ahmaud Arbery. So when he got killed, that was very nearly the flashpoint, and but everything kind of settled, or at least it didn't bubble over, didn't boil over. It boiled over with George Floyd. So Karen Bass is basically painting this picture that all encounters with law enforcement, with people of color, are basically death sentences where She mentioned the guy James Holmes from the Aurora, Colorado shooting in the movie theater. How he was treated. He was just taken in without any chokeholds or anything like that. And then the kid Dylan Roof in South Carolina, the psycho who shot up the church, and which I do find this fucking ridiculous, is that he was bought Burger King. The cops actually bought him Burger King. So there is some unfair treatment on the surface, but do the statistics bear that out? I'm not here to talk about that, at least not right now. I just want to get back to the hearing. But right now, that's what Karen Bass was doing. Is she was kind of schooling Attorney General Barr in order to make her point that people of color are treated unfairly compared to white people when it comes to law enforcement. And Barr didn't get a chance to respond to any of that, other than to say that they are rolling out a certification, recertification program for all law enforcement in the United States, which is well overdue. Took a few of these instances recently, having nothing to, not considering what happened in the past. The recent events finally caused someone to do something about it. But that's what just happened with the Barr. Okay, Cedric Richmond from Louisiana asked if, in his opinion, does Barr think that Russia interfered with the 2016 election? And Barr said yes. And he said that you have to assume that they're trying to interfere with 2020 as well. Take that for what it's worth. Okay, so Barr just said he thinks there's a high risk that mail-in voting could lead to widespread voting fraud. So now he's asking about coronavirus, that black folks disproportionately die from COVID-19. All right, he's making a connection between voter fraud, saying that because blacks are more at risk of dying from COVID, that going out to vote puts them at greater risk, so that mail-in voting would be better for the black population, basically saying that to not do that, to not allow mail-in voting, would disenfranchise, which I guess the argument can be made, but the argument is going to be made in reverse, saying that with all the precautions in place and masking and social distancing, everybody should be safe. And then you also have the protests and the riots. If that was such a concern, why weren't protests and riots handled differently? Okay, so Richmond allowed Barr to answer and speak. It was good to see. And Barr said that statistically, law enforcement officers in their dealings with white people are more likely to shoot a white person, whereas they are more likely to use non-lethal force against a black suspect. And then Richmond said, Nadler's talking now, sorry. He's got his mask hanging off his chin. I can't stand Jerry Nadler yelling and shouting. So anyway, yeah, Richmond let him answer, and then he said that any data that you have that supports the answer that you just gave is fake, basically, which is kind of funny because they're saying that the data that I have is factual, the data that you have is fake. So classic he said, right? All right, so now Jim Jordan's talking. Let's see what he's got to say. I missed it. I was busy pontificating. All right, Hakeem Jeffries from New York just said that Trump told the American people to inject themselves with bleach. He didn't fucking say that. He never fucking said inject yourself with bleach. Show me a video of him saying inject yourself with bleach. Okay? Now, what we do know is that bleach does kill the virus. Guaranteed there are fucking studies out there saying that people are being treated somehow with bleach. Just like fucking ultraviolet light treats it and kills the fucking virus. The way these guys fucking twist everything, they act like Trump isn't in the know on shit. He is in the know on shit. He's the fucking president, and he gets briefed every day on this kind of information. But now he's trying to tell Barr that Trump's response to the coronavirus was not superb because Barr used the language superb on a show probably a month ago, and now he keeps lecturing him, telling him it was not superb. The answer to that question is it was not superb. So he's just berating Barr. Fucking circle jerk, man. This is so fucking stupid. They brought him in there just to fucking yell at him and shout all the fucking campaign points that Joe Biden can't fucking get out of his mouth. This is fucking bullshit. That's all this is. I told you, it's all fucking political theater. It's all fucking show. They're all saying the shit that fucking Biden can't say. That's what they're doing. They're making the case for Biden. It's a fucking joke. If Biden can't campaign on his own, he doesn't deserve to be fucking president. Come up with a better candidate, fucking Democrats. 150,000 Americans are dead. Fucking, they would have died anyway. A lot of these people would have died anyway because they had all these fucking coexisting, conditions, pre-existing conditions. They had all these comorbidities. Christ. I yield back. After I reclaim my time, Oh, I yield back. Now I'm getting worked up. It's a good show now, right? Fuck. Fucking old white guy. Mr. Biggs is his name. Christ, I don't know who this is. He's probably Republican. He looks like a Republican. Republican from Arizona, Andy Biggs. He's talking about Nadler attacking him. Try to make it so that my gut doesn't stick out so much. Troops. Fucking people wouldn't know what to do if federal troops showed up on American soil. They wouldn't know what to do. They would shit their pants. So fucking stupid. Okay, boy, I just said this Swalwell, and he raised his voice to get his answer in. He said, I've never heard of a case where lying prosecutors basically lie to get their case made. So it was good. All right, Barr just basically threatened Swalwell He said if he said if I applied your standards of justice, there would be a lot more people under investigation. And the way he said it was basically saying, Democrats, tread lightly. I like it. Okay. I haven't been recording for a little bit. I've just kind of been watching. Right now, Joe Neguse, a Democrat from Colorado, is basically berating Attorney General Barr, not letting him speak. It's just been the show all day, where they've just repeatedly thrown accusations at him, mostly about the president, some about Barr, some about other Republicans, but basically just throwing accusation after accusation in order to get this on the record. Like, the whole purpose of this is just to get it on the record again, so that Joe Biden, who is completely unreliable, doesn't have to say any of this. The whole point of this exercise has been to basically lay the case, the anti-Trump case, out to Americans, for anybody who's watching, anybody who's paying attention to this. But I'm sure all the news agencies are, so they're all going to pick up on this, and they're all going to, like tonight, all the sound bites are going to be the comments from the Democrats. It is not going to be Barr's response. But basically what we're looking at right now is them just yelling at Barr. Sylvia Garcia is talking right now. She's a Democrat from Texas, apparently the Houston district, and she was on there saying something about the prisoners being released from not being released, versus Manafort being released, but saying that the only people that were being released were friends of the president, when that's completely untrue. You can't just release prisoners because of COVID. Like, you have to take their situation into consideration. And the fact is, a lot of these prisoners who are getting released are going out and committing new crimes. They're getting rearrested. I mean, story after story after story, it keeps on happening. So a lot of the shit that we're seeing, a lot of the political theatrics that we're seeing, it is not based on fact. It is all it's Democrat talking points. So right now we have Lucy McBath, who is a Democrat from Georgia. Let's see what she's saying. I'm not sure what she's talking about. I mean, she's talking about coronavirus, but I don't know if she's talking about. Hmm. All right, it's healthcare, it's all that stuff. They're allowed to disagree. Joe McIlvaine's statement. She has a pre-existing condition. She's a two-time breast cancer survivor. Don't gamble with American lives. Don't gamble with her life. He has nothing to do with the ACA. Thank you. I'm not in charge of healthcare policy. I'm the lawyer. That's what he just said. And she doesn't want to accept that answer. So dramatic. Ugh. Quality healthcare. Quality healthcare. I wish people understood this. Healthcare is not the issue. The healthcare is out there. It's insurance. They want insurance. Jesus Christ. Now, don't answer the question. Let me just keep talking. Now she wants to talk about gun violence. An increase in failed background checks. $23,000 potential gun sales blocked. Good. The system works. Good. What? It's not a crime to try to buy a gun. Why does take that as a no? He just said he did. It's not a no. He said yes, we're pursuing cases. This is fucking nuts, man. Oh, failing to keep your constituents, failing to keep people safe. Okay. Okay. He was trying to answer it. Oh my God. She says he's not willing to answer. Every time he tried to answer, she cut him off. Right. Thank you, Mr. Jordan. And fucking Nadler's up there banging his gavel. He's such a fucking slob. Nadler's a fucking disgrace. He had an accident today. Bullshit. They tried to fucking delay this so they can write their scripts. Jesus Christ. They're not letting him speak. It's a fucking joke. Mr. Stanton. I don't know where this guy's from. Okay, here it is. He's a Democrat from Arizona, and he's talking about voter suppression. Like they're just hitting every campaign talking point. Every single one of them. Suppress the minority vote. What? How so? No. If more Americans are voting by mail. Oh my God. What the hell does Roger Stone have to do with it? Roger Stone is a nobody. Who the fuck is Roger Stone? They act like Roger Stone is like this fucking genius who like calls down demons or calls up demons, I guess. You know, who make people do things. He's like the fucking puppet master. It's Roger Stone. Have you seen Roger Stone? He smokes cigars. He's like this old dude. Is he really the fucking fixer? Is he really like the guy? He may have had some fucking influence before. It's just an old fart now. Like, come on. And they're not even. What suppression? What suppression? Blocking voting by mail is not suppression. An absentee ballot is not fucking the same as voting by mail. Jesus Christ. fucking joke. I gotta put it on pause. I got some shit I gotta do. I'll be right back. Okay, so now that the shit show is over, I guess Barr has finished testifying for the day. Um, can't wait to see what all the fake news outlets have to say about it tonight. I'm sure Tucker will have plenty to say. Apparently, there was an actual Biden campaign event. Like he was giving some kind of speech about, I don't fucking know, healthcare, race, something like whatever his plan is. He's probably like outlaying his plan, um, laying out his plan. Anyway, so while that was going on, the whole fucking Barr Senate or House thing was going on. Total fucking shit show. Complete joke. Complete fucking joke. The way they berated Barr and the way he took it. Like they call him the honey badger for a fucking reason. Like this guy was not phased by any of it. There were a couple times that you could tell he was getting a little pissed, um, but he handles it well. You know, he was sitting there. And the one guy's questioning him, and he's sitting there like this, just looking at him, listening. Like, are you fucking kidding me? And the guy just had his hissy fit, and then Barr was like, "Are you going to let me answer?" And the guy's like, "I will. I intend to. I'm going to give you time to answer." And then gave him no time to answer. Um, thank God for Jim Jordan. He repeatedly, uh, a lot of the Republicans said, "I yield my time to Jordan," and then Jordan came on and basically said, I want to give Barr time to answer. Um, so it's good. Jordan's a patriot. Jordan's one of us. He's one of the good guys, at least so far. Um, Barr held his own, but what the Democrats just did was a fucking disgrace. Jerry Nadler is a fucking mess. So we'll see what happens. This is my first video, my first commentary, at least spoken and recorded, not typed out or just thought in my head, and I laughed because I think I'm so clever. But anyway, if you like it, share it. Otherwise, don't. I don't give a fuck. I'm going to be making more of these. So again, Rob Gardner, the Butcher, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.